The spring season of anime for 2021 has already started, but there are quite a few shows that have still yet to air. Spring 2021 looks like it'll be filled with interesting anime for fans to enjoy.
行くぞ阿弥陀丸ワンソン俺は誇り高きアイヌ民族の滅ぶ
Fans everywhere are eagerly awaiting to watch these shows. It's a long season, full of a lot of shows people have been waiting for. So welcome back to Animeology, and today we will show you the top 10 new anime to watch for 2021. Before we begin, be sure to drop a like and subscribe down below for more anime top 10s. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Number 10, 86.
自分が行こうと思ったところまで行こうと思った道をたどっていけるんです。
As someone who's a fan of series with military and political themes and mecha involved, like Gundam, it's no surprise that 86 is one of the most anticipated spring 2021 anime. Authored by Asato Asato and illustrated by Shirabi, 86 takes place in the Republic of San Magnolia, a nation under attack by a neighboring empire's unmanned drone army known as the Legion. The Republic's government claims its battle mechs are also unmanned drones, successfully fighting a war without casualties, but this is a lie. The 85 sectors of San Magnolia are protected by fortified walls and a sect of soldiers known as the 86. The 86 are young men and women who, because of their skin color and ancestral bloodlines, are treated as less than human and forced into battle to die defending their country. While the series is dark due to the issues it explores, such as racism and discrimination, it is one of the most well-developed and profound stories I've read to date. With a strong story and great world building, 86 is honestly something that I think will translate really well into anime, and I think it will be one of the best this season. Up next at number 9, The World Ends With You, the animation.
集中しろ。感覚を研ぎ澄ませろ。お前ら全員ここで死ね。
The World Ends With You was a sleeper hit released way back in 2007 for the Nintendo DS. It was a title that didn't get nearly the amount of groundswell it deserved. For one, this story is the brainchild of Tetsuya Nomura, the same man behind the Kingdom Hearts series, and the game takes a lot of inspiration from one Kingdom Hearts title in particular, Chain of Memories, which is the Kingdom Hearts game with the most polarizing reception from the fanbase. Well, a similar situation happened with The World Ends With You, as 99% of the people who fell off of this game did so because of the core gameplay loop. But this is why this upcoming, well-deserved anime adaptation is so highly anticipated. An anime adaptation gives people the absurd, yet lovable characters and convoluted plot that we've all come to expect from Nomura without any of the gameplay hiccups. Moving on to number 8, Eden's Zero. Eden's Zero is the latest manga series created by Hiro Mashima. You may notice a similar style and character designs as his other well-known manga series, Fairy Tail. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say something a little controversial. Eden's Zero is basically Fairy Tail in space. There, someone said it. But that would make sense considering it's a manga made by Hiro Mashima, the author of Fairy Tail. In any case, everyone loved Fairy Tail, and it's no doubt that plenty of people love Eden's Zero as well. There's a lot that Eden's Zero does different from Fairy Tail, but at the end of the day, their foundational concepts are very similar. It's hard to argue that they aren't, considering Happy is a part of the main cast in both series. Though in Eden's Zero, he's put into the adorable sci-fi robot role. Well, an adorable robot that turns into guns, but despite all of that, the story is really solid on its own, and the adaptation should garner around the same popularity as Fairy Tail, if not more depending on how it goes. Number 7, To Your Eternity.
私はそれをこの地に投げ入れ
Moving on to the niche adaptation of the season, it's an anime titled To Your Eternity. Unlike most of the other series on here, To Your Eternity is an anime adaptation of a manga that started all the way back in 2016 and is still releasing today. Sadly, this anime was supposed to start airing in October of 2020, but because of a certain worldwide pandemic, maybe you heard about it, this season was pushed back a bit. Now, talking about the concepts too much would be spoiler territory, but in general, this show questions about what humanity is, how people are remembered after they die, what exactly forms our identity as humans, as well as plenty of other difficult concepts. Quite honestly, it has some of the saddest moments we can remember in recent animated history, and we're looking forward to it. This anime is one that's bound to have stunning animation and visuals, especially in regards to its landscapes and backgrounds, thanks to the incredible artwork and scenery showcased in the manga. But it also has a unique and fascinating premise that makes it one of the most anticipated spring 2021 anime. Next on our list at number 6 is Burning Kabaddi. From what I've seen in the teasers, the animation, which is done by TMS Entertainment, think Dr. Stone, Fruits Basket, D. Gray Man, and Re-Life, looks like it's gonna be incredible. The manga's story centers on first-year high school student Tatsuya Yogashi and former ace soccer player who dislikes sports. He gets invited to join a team for the contact sport kabaddi. He scoffs at the idea at first, but becomes interested after watching a kabaddi practice. For a sports anime to really hook its viewers, it has to have great characters that show growth, intense competition, and interesting dynamics between teams, and dynamic action sequences that feature crisp animation. Burning Kabaddi seems like it's going to have all of this and so much more, making it one of my most anticipated spring 2021 anime. Moving on to number 5, Tokyo Revengers.
東京卍か勢揃いだバカ野郎
I've heard nothing but good things about Tokyo Revengers manga, so I'm excited to check out its adaptation this spring. The story focuses on a boy named Takamichi Hanagaki who has found himself in a rough spot, and things only get worse when he learns his ex-girlfriend and first love has been murdered. Hinata Tachibana was the unfortunate victim of the Tokyo Manji gang, a group of thugs who have been upsetting peace in Tokyo for years. As you can imagine, Hanagaki is beaten down over the death, but things take a turn for the better when the boy finds himself flung 12 years into the past. Our hero finds himself back in a relationship with Hinata this time, and Hanagaki is determined to save her. In order to do this, the boy infiltrates the budding Tokyo Manji gang to change the future and save Hinata from an early grave. If Tokyo Revengers turns out as good as I think it's going to, it's gonna be one of the best of the year, undoubtedly. Number 4, Mars Red.
誰を殺せばいい
あとはあそこですね。
これよりゼロ機関は俺の指揮下において混合鉄兵としてヴァンパイアの能力
Mars Red is the first anime to be based on a dramatic stage reading, and I'm interested in seeing how this medium translates into anime. But I'm also intrigued by it as well because it's set in a world where vampires exist. Since there are a ton of vampire stories out there, I'm hoping this anime brings something unique and new to the table. With its premise, which follows Code Zero, a unit created by the Japanese government to look into an increase in the number of vampires and the rise of a new artificial blood source called Askra, I'm hopeful that Mars Red will stand out. I'm also interested in seeing how the humans and the vampires work together in this series, as well as seeing the dynamics and interactions that exist between the two. Up next at number 3, Nomad, Megalobox 2.
ただの幻なのかだから頼むよ もう一度
Lace your gloves and polish your gear because Joe is back. TMS Entertainment has dropped a teaser trailer for a follow-up to their 2018 sci-fi sports anime Megalobox. Titled Nomad Megalobox 2, the sequel will continue the story laid down in the first season. Megalobox is essentially like if someone took that mediocre Hugh Jackman film Real Steel and combined it with Hajime no Ippo, Ashita no Joe. It follows the story of Junk Dog, a no-name nobody boxer who wants to get to the top, even if it means getting in the ring without cybernetic arm enhancements known as gear. Megalobox is sadly hidden deep within Netflix's anime section, but still did pretty well numbers-wise, which makes sense considering it was created as a 50th anniversary celebration of the classic Ashita no Joe series. But it sort of grew out of that role and garnered an audience all on its own, so fans are excited to see how much more it diverges in Season 2. At number 2, we have Shaman King.
今なんつった？
阿弥陀丸人玉モード超一合体覚悟は良いで
This one's been a long time coming, and it finally seems like things are lining up for Shaman King to get another anime adaptation. For people unaware of this IP, Shaman King is a manga series that ran from 1998 to 2004, and people still remember it quite fondly as one of their favorite shonen series. There was also another anime adaptation made in 2001, but because it ran parallel to the manga releases, they had to start coming up with their own story material about halfway into it. Personally, I'm happy they chose to remake the anime instead of just remastering the original and calling it a day. Because of its nostalgia, there's something charming about the original, but unfortunately it just didn't age well over time, and I'm eager to see it animated in a new way that does the battles and characters in the series justice. And finally, at number 1, My Hero Academia's 5th season. Of course, this was going to be at the top of the list. My Hero Academia is still insanely popular, and Studio Bones has done a fantastic job with the anime as well. So, of course, the upcoming Season 5 is highly sought after by all manner of fans. Season 4 ended with an insanely hyped up battle between Nomu and the new number 1 hero, Endeavor. Season 5 will focus more on UA and the students, shining more of a spotlight on Class 1B. The two classes will be merged together for a joint training class where they'll be divided into smaller teams to fight against each other. Although it may seem as though Class 1A will have the upper hand, Class 1B has been improving as well, despite not having seen as many battles as 1A has. At the end of Season 4, Midoriya sees all of the previous users of One for All, as well as a glimpse of the first user with his brother, All for One, in his dream. He wakes up, destroying his room in the process, but has no idea what the dream means. Once he does, he might be able to understand and control his quirk better.